What is up, guys? Welcome back to the SuperCoach Experience podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Savage, the coach of the Savage Burbos. Round 18 is here. Round 17 is done. The big buy rounds are on its way. They're on its way out. And just like my SuperCoach round is the way I like my women, 18.
That's a Josh Giddey sort of vibe there, wasn't it? Yeah.
Oh, that was so random. That just came out. I've messed up like 4 intros in a row, and I come up with that shit.
You just had some flow going. You're like, I'll just keep going with the flow. And
we
don't have filters, man. So like, it's like, you know, for us to not slip out worse things, I think we're going all right. But yeah, look,
I got way too cocky there.
At least it's legal. Yeah. Well, hello to you and hello to the listeners, viewers at home.
And in case you're wondering, I'm joined by the 2021 champion, Tim Moody, the coach of the Villi Army. How is your side doing SuperCoach-wise? And I just want a bit of a quick update on just how SuperCoach, how are you feeling about SuperCoach at the moment?
Yeah, pretty. I'm just enjoying it. Like, I was a bit down like a couple of months ago about like, you know, just got on my decision making and just, you know, just the way things are going. Wanted to be doing better, but, you know, I'm just enjoying week to week. I just love watching the footy. SuperCoach just makes it better. I'd love to be doing a bit better, but just working with the situation I've got and trying to make the best of my situation. I'm ranked about 3,700. No,
That's pretty good.
3,477. Dyslexic as fuck, so the numbers were just going all over the shop there. Yeah, it's not too shabby. I jumped.
Oh, actually, hang on a minute. 7,300.
Yeah. No. So 3,477. I jumped 2 ranks. Just two measly ranks. So green arrows.
What'd you score?
2 of them. I scored 11,014. And yeah, Captain Teddy. Everything else went pretty shit out. So really slowish week. But it is what it is. Like, the thing that would just shit me the most is I was so stressed about, well, not stressed, but just sort of like mind focused on I needed to save trades last week. And I was just so locked into that. And I really wanted to bring in Nicho, but I wanted to do that via Dalmatines Lesniak, 3,000 short. So very, very close. And the only other way I was going to be able to do it was to sell Burbo or Kai Pierce Paul. And I just really wanted those numbers. Looking back on it, I've had 13 numbers for round 19. Losing Manu takes one of those away. But I should have just done a 1-for-1, got rid of Kai Pierce Paul, back the draw of, I'm getting him now, I'm paying up. It's just how it is. Like, I'm a bit like that, you know, like, it's kind of like I couldn't afford it last week. I needed to wait to payday, and I've just got, you know what I mean? To get Nicho. So everyone else could afford him, but I had to wait to payday to get him. So, yeah, I got paid, which was just holding the trades. I needed to hold the trades. I feel good about that, though, because although I'm making a trade I would have made last week, I would have made 2 other trades this week. So I've still prevented myself from making 4 trades or 3 trades over this period. So, yeah, it's fine.
And, you know, I guess you missed out on that trade last week. You've saved a trade, and you've had to spend a bit more this week to get Nicho in. But, you know, there's a Joey Manu problem that you can get rid of at the moment with some really cut price options available at the moment. So it's not the worst thing in the world. I guess we'll speak about that very shortly. But just wanted to make a little announcement. August 10th, we have something planned. I just wanted to release the date. We don't want to open the lid on what exactly it is, but it's huge. It will be based in the Penrith area, so lock in the date, 2 p.m. It has to do something with current NRL player.
Just consider it a surprise birthday party that you're all invited to. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, and you're the surprise. The surprise is you'll know later.
Current NRL player is well in with this establishment that we're hosting this thing at, but that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. And it rhymes with, no, I'm not telling. All right, round 17. What'd you end up scoring? I didn't ask that.
1,114.
Okay, I scored 1,155. Obviously, Dom Young killed it. Teddy captain.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely killed it. But it was kind of a week of a lot of 30s. And I feel like we're at the time now where we want to get these guys out of our side. There's a lot of different options that you know, it feels way too tempting to sell people like Manu. You've got to get rid of these 30s eventually, I think, in my opinion. So we'll go over options today, all that sort of stuff. Pick a bet, strategy. What's your strategy right now? So you've got 13 for round 19. Obviously,
Well,
you don't.
I've now got 12 with Joey going down.
Joey was never playing round 19.
Joe Manu?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
He doesn't play round 19.
Well, that's awesome. I was counting that in my mental that I'd lost a number. But I haven't lost a number. Yeah, you're right. Okay, awesome. That's cool. So I've still got 13.
So how are you playing it? Because I feel like it's a week where you can kind of look at getting Origin stars in this week. Like I see Olakwatu's on one of the top traded in. I'm looking at him. You know, Cameron Murray's at a good price. Payne Haas. There's a lot of good options, and I feel like it is the time to. It feels like the time to do it because come around 1920, we're going to want all these players at once. Feel like if you've got the numbers, this week's the week to jump on these guys.
Yeah. There's plenty of great trades this week. Like Nicho, I think is a great one this week. You could do it next week or this week, but I reckon this week's the way to go about it. I can't afford doing it this week that's the thing. That's what cost me. Had I brought Nicho in last week,
oh no,
I'd then be able to bring Nicho in this week. But what I've got around is like, I've got to just cut my losses from last week, and I fucked up and deal with that. I've got to get Nicho. Like, I didn't think he was going to score in that game, and I was still not sure whether I wanted him. Thought I was going to happy to let him go, but when he scored in that game in the fashion that he did, like the crash over as well, I think I'm just freaking. That's disgusting. I'm just playing with someone else's chewing gum under the table. I'm just fiddling with this like I was like a knob. I thought it was a little wooden knob of the table, and I'm just playing with it. And I'll just leave this hand over here for a little while.
Oh my god.
Yeah, whoever
Yuck.
left that? That's poor.
Brother.
That is really poor form by whoever did that.
Yeah, that's a Billy Darcy.
Probably a Billy Darcy sort of
it's
thing.
such a Billy
reckon.
Darcy thing to do.
Yeah. So where was I?
You know, if you've got to replace the table, that's a bit of bicky.
Yeah. So where was I before I got
I don't
some
know.
minty fingers?
Let's just not talk about SuperCoach today. I feel like
yeah, we might go off on tangents a bit. We might have to come back to SuperCoach, but where the fuck were we?
Nicaragua went over for the crash play.
Oh yeah, so
I've got to be honest. When he got the ball, like usually when you run them crash plays, with the great line he runs, you know he's scoring 100%. But when he got the ball, he still had a bit to do. So I think that makes it even harder to swallow that he got all the tackle busts from accumulating. And when he went over, I was like, I checked. Your team was the team I checked straight away because I'm like, did he do it? Because everyone else did it. Yeah. But yeah, good price last week, and this is exactly what he's going to do. He'd only scored one try prior to that.
Yep.
This is exactly what he's going to do. So I feel like waiting a week to make sure that you're actually sure about it. Like we've made purchases in the past. Cody Walker, you weren't sure if you wanted him.
I did this with KPP earlier in the year too. Waited a while to get, but you know what? That was a fuck up. I should have just really got him. I was just too Scroogey into. This is a week I can save and I have to do it because I've got 13. You know, for round 19, I've got a full 17. Yeah, I could improve my side, but with the amount of people that were. Other sides were losing so many crucial numbers to Origin, so they were having to play weaker people. And I thought, I'm balancing out here.
Yeah,
I can just wear it. And I thought it was going to be a par week. And the fact that KPP got pushed to the starting side, if he was on the bench, I would have just fucking done it. But that's annoying. But yeah, so going to do
it
this.
And I'm pretty sure. Did we get the news before? I'm pretty sure we got the news before. So
yeah,
like that really screwed with you too. KPP, named to start this week. Dylan Lucas on the bench.
Now Ponga's here. Now did he start offloading? Is that where you're going? Yeah.
No, I just feel like is he a sell? Like because I can't trust that Lucas or KPP is going to start each week. I feel like Lucas was someone I was very keen to hold, and now I'm like,
do you know it'd be annoying for you though because you're in an awkward spot. Say you sell KPP.
Sell the wrong one.
Yeah, and then Lucas comes back.
Just sell both of them.
Yeah, potentially, because I don't reckon either of them are that mad for you, and they're holding enough value.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon.
And realistically, like, you're going to play someone else in your starting side.
You could definitely hold KPP in your side as like a fourth or fifth guy, but I've only got two guns in that position. I've got Fafita and Katoa. So I've got a dud guy like Burbo, Piakura or KPP that needs to come into my starting side every week. So I need to make that Nikora trade now because I could do Olakau'atu, but I can wait on Olakau'atu as well. Like he's got a 50 BE. If he scores under 50, I'll be like, but yeah. So I think I can bring him in like after Origin, and I might also be able to do Angus as well because I've got 3 guys there: Burbo, KPP, and Piakura. It's just going to come down to affordability.
It's funny because I feel like when I sold Angus, my intention was always to get him back, and then as weeks went by, I was like, I don't have the trades to do that. But he's looked so good that I feel like you kind of need to get him. Like he's elite second rower. Like I'd rather have him over Eliesa Katoa. I'd rather have him. Too, I reckon him and
you wouldn't make the trade with what the numbers we're in. You're not.
No. But
no way.
I feel like he's just someone who just with how he played Origin. Jesus Christ, he played good. All right, TLT just dropped. And
how's about them Blues, eh?
Sorry?
How's about them Blues?
Oh, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it in our NRL show on the Burst. But we're here to talk strictly Supercoach. We're business right here. We're business at the front, party at the back.
What goes on in the middle?
We shave that section.
Okay.
All right, TLT. Kalamatangi stays at lock. Murray on the edge. I was eyeing off Murray for 550k, and now he's on the edge. I'm a bit turned off by that. Jaden Campbell is out. AJ Brimson in. Blow for owners there. Penrith and Broncos Origin stars return. Jack Howarth remains at centre. Remus is on the extended. Remus played reserve grade last week, so very good news for potential Howarth owners. Harry Grant is out. Tom Trbojevic returns in the centres, which means Talato Kula, whatever his name is, Kula plays fullback. Lomax is back. Jennings is in the centres. Manu is out. May is back to the bench with that star-studded forward pack. Kalen Ponga is back. MARZHEW on the wing, and the 2 guys I wanted to kick off the show with their profiles: Greg MARZHEW, Ronaldo Mulitalo. Greg MARZHEW, 505,000 with a -5 break even, and Ronaldo Mulitalo, 469,000 with, I think it's
52-ish or
52-ish break even. Both pretty good draws. Ronaldo has the Titans and the Tigers next week. The Greg MARZHEW has the Raiders, and I forget who he's got next.
Does go into Broncos and Penrith as well.
He's got Canberra, Manly, and the Broncos. I've got it right here, and I wasn't looking at it.
And then Penrith after Broncos.
I didn't write it. I just wrote the next 3.
So MARZHEW's got I don't know that his draw's a bit miss up, and it's not like mad like Ronaldo's is.
You're way too far away.
It's not like it's not mad like
Come
Ronaldo's
on,
was.
you've been podcasting for this long.
I was getting comfy. Like it's not mad like Ronaldo's is. Like it's just mad every week. But then the MARZHEW thing with Ponga coming back, but does go into like goodish game this week. Goodish, like Raiders, not heaps easy. But then Broncos and Penrith, like in a couple of weeks after that. I think that's going to be a tough 2 weeks. The Broncos, I feel like, are going to have to be firing.
Greg MARZHEW, 122, 69, and 59 versus the Raiders in his last 3. In his last 3 versus Manly, 138, 102, 38 when he played for the Titans.
Those scores just have not looked like coming this year, have they?
They haven't, but on the weekend, he got the ball and he's going to get it with... I got to be honest, before team lists, I was not keen on MARZHEW at all. He wasn't in any of my plans. But the minute I saw Kalen Ponga there, and I knew he was coming back soon, so I really should have had the upright thinking to do so. The minute I saw him in there, I think just Greg MARZHEW just seems such a better purchase than someone like Ronaldo Mulitalo. Greg MARZHEW was the most expensive centre wing at the start of the season, and people bought him in. People started with him.
I was going to start with him. I remember at the start of the year, I was tossing up between him and Val as my one premium guy. I didn't start with either. I ended up going a bit more lower, mid-ish, and spending money elsewhere. But, that's how good he has been last year. Like, that we were considering spending that much at the start. Like, I was considering starting with him at, like, that top 700 and something K. I pulled up stats, and, like, it's weird. Like, I think the whole Ponga, like, goes well with Ponga. like if you just base it on last year, like off this year, you can see there's been a massive drop off, right? Because he's averaging 53 or something this year with that big score last week. 52, with the big score last week. But prior to that score last week, it was only 47. So for me, I looked at it, and there was 14 games he played with Ponga last year for an average of 75, and he had 3 tons in 10 games with Ponga in the side. He had 6 games without Ponga in the side, and he scored 2 tons in that time. So I don't know that it's that much. I know when Ponga's sweeping and he's giving the ball straight over, it's easy, but I don't know if it's just like as simple as
complacency.
Yeah, I know.
Because he's had that position. I know early in the season when Ponga was out, Ponga had the head knocks and he was out quite early in the season. Greg MARZHEW didn't get that spot in round 1, so he was pretty much fighting for that position. So I feel like there was a bit of like hunger to keep that wing spot. And once later in the year here, Ponga was back anyway. So I feel like the complacency that he has now, where there's no competition for spots, I'm okay to give his scores without Ponga a pass mark. You can see he played round 1 and 2, scored 59 and 46. Early on in the season for a centre wing, that does suck, but you'll take it for sure. He scored 40 points when he came back in round 6 against the Roosters, and that was the game Ponga was on one leg. After that, he scored 30 and 29, and I feel like the Knights went through a transition phase. Which half do we play with? And I feel like Jackson Hastings playing on the left side, hopefully they lock in Will Price as their 5'8" playing on the right. He looks pretty good. Looks like he's got a good running game.
Confident little guy, isn't he?
Yeah, and that'll help Ponga just be really good on the left and right. I just think there's so much value there. He averaged 55 and 58 in his last 2 years at the Titans, and that was in a side that didn't even have the likes of KP and all that sort of stuff. So I'm putting his slump in form just down to Newcastle and their halves just trying to fight out for this competition of spots. You know, they're holding the ball a second longer to try and impress the coach, when realistically Hastings should be comfortable in his position. Will Price is playing on the right, so hopefully they go to a more team mindset rather than, you know, trying to show their worth.
Yeah, I do quite like him. I think the thing that just really put me off, because I was even just looking at his scores for the year versus Ronnie Mulitalo's, and I think of Ronnie Mulitalo's, you know, probably been a bit underwhelming for a lot of the year. But when you just look at it on paper, if you just bring up MARZHEW's scores and you look from round 1 all the way down, it's like it's very 50, 40, 40, 30, 20, 50, 40, 40. Like it's and then when I was looking at Ronnie Mulitalo's, there was like 80, 70, 100. Then there was like the 30, 30, 30, like a couple of lower ones there. But I just think because I've seen it a bit more this year that maybe that's the part of me that... And because the draw, if you can only pick one of them, it's a tough decision. But maybe if you can only pick one of them, it's only one of them this week. And if you can only go one this week, you go MARZHEW this week because of the minus 12 BE. Ronnie, he could still score a ton this week. With a BE of 50, you're still going to get him for like 520. So you can still bring him into your side with a mad run. You know what I mean? Like, you can still do it. But if you can only, like, say you're so stacked in the centre wing that you've only got one spot available, every other spot's taken up with guns that you're not selling until they get injured or whatever. Geez, it's tough to split. Do you think it's a one? You seem to be leaning MARZHEW way over.
I feel like I'm getting MARZHEW, but I've still got Ethan Strange in my centre wing. So Ethan Strange is about the price of Ronaldo Mulitalo. There's a good chance I go Strange to Mulitalo next week. And it kind of sucks because, you know, the Sharks are playing the Gold Coast Titans, but I do feel like Canberra's a good matchup for Newcastle. They are playing at Amy Park, though. Amy Park is kind of the ground where Canberra step up a little bit. And I'd love to see, you know, I'd rather wait a week to let Ponga come in and just ease himself into it. But the fact that he's got a negative break even, I don't want to
have him come out and score 130 and go, I've got to have him.
Yeah,
but you couldn't
exactly.
really pay up, could you?
No.
Like after that.
So I'm willing to go MARZHEW this week, and if I like what I see from Mulitalo, I can get them both if I really want to, but I don't.
I don't mind the Mulitalo thing next week. I'm sort of thinking, when you said about it, I could get him next week for Ethan Strange, and a thing went off in my mind. I was like, well, I've got Dallin Martinez-Lesniak. I'd love to sell him this week,
Yeah.
but I can't afford to do it, right? I just got to get the guys I want to get in. For me to get in Nicho and MARZHEW or one of these other centre wingers like Ronnie, I just can't afford it. So that's by selling Dallin. I'd have to sell Manu instead. But if I was to wait a week, Dallin's got a pretty big BE of 90. He might lose a bit of cash, but if he doesn't lose too much and Ronnie doesn't lose too much, that could be not a straight swap, but close enough, maybe within about 70k or something that could be justifiable still with that run home.
And they're still, I feel like you're buying these two players based on them. Like, they're both priced at, let me get the stats up now, but I did the math the other day, and Ronnie's based on a 45.8 average. You're buying him, he'll average more than that for you.
He will, but I think you think a couple of those weeks that he gets you 28, 30, or you might even get a weird 9. But with the run, surely there's...
And that's why we're loading up on the likes of Nicho.
Like, even if he does not score 1 week, right? Like, say there's a week he doesn't score, there's not many runs, and he puts up a stinking 18 or something like that, you'd think that in the next couple of weeks there's going to be either a double or a triple that's going to counteract that.
Exactly. And that's why these centre wings are so valuable, because they've got the upside.
Bit of a roll of the dice.
Greg MARZHEW is priced on a 48.67 average.
How much? 50... What did you say the average was? 50 what?
48.67.
48, yeah, okay.
So are you confident he will average that or more for you?
Yeah.
I'm confident he'll average more, and I feel like there's at least 7 points value
Plus
there.
upside. Like, that's
Plus
it feels
upside.
like base for him kind of thereabouts, yeah.
Yeah, so I like both of them. I don't love Mulitalo. I just feel like every time I've owned him, he's been a bit underwhelming with the matchups. Like, I'll rush to get him in 1 week, and he'll just absolutely just stink it up.
Trindle out of the side now wasn't the whole thing.
No, he's in there.
Oh, okay. I thought I was hearing Atkinson's name was thrown up around.
Atkinson is named on the wing this week.
Ah, okay. That's different. Sure.
It is. Trindle is still in. Talakai keeps second row.
That's good if you've got him. Keep prodding him away.
Can I bring up another option? I'm not going to sit here and wait for you to gather your thoughts.
Yeah, go on. What I'm not trying to decide nothing. What do you think?
I thought I was waiting for you.
No.
No, I thought you were looking for something to say. Sorry.
I'm just looking at the lineup.
Cooler. 434,000 available at fullback. I feel like Cooler out of these three, he's probably got the most upside over this next little bit of period. But I think he's got the least, the shortest amount of shelf life, because I feel
potentially for sure, yeah.
Like Tommy being named at the centres, I get the impression he's only going to be there for 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks, maybe wait till after the Origin period when DCE is back. But
it's hard to predict, man. Like, if they're going really well, and he's happy enough, that maybe they just keep it going with it. But yeah, part of me thinks that either he's going to just be kind of like, I want my spot back, or maybe they're not winning games, and then they make the change or something like that.
There's a lot of variables that is not in favour of Cooler.
It'd be annoying to have him go back to centres and have him in your side, and then you wouldn't want to play him. You'd have him, but it's not someone you're stoked in. You'd be then going, bloody hell, wish I had MARZHEW instead now, if once he goes back to centre, So that's it's tough. He's a nice price, man.
But yeah, exactly. At the price,
fullback.
If he holds his position for the rest of the year as well, like, he suddenly becomes someone who, at the end of the year, when teams give up, like we saw what happened last year, 188. He's got the Cowboys, Knights, and Titans in the next 3. So even if he just plays the next 3, could be worth the value. And then their run to finish the season, it goes the Roosters, Canberra, New Zealand, and then they play the Tigers and Bulldogs in 25 and 26. The Bulldogs, granted, really good this year. And then the Sharks at 4 Pines in round 27, which could potentially... if the Sharks kick on and have enough wins, they could rest players that week. So I like the draw, and do I love the purchase? I wouldn't do it myself, but I like it. I like it as a little bit of a pod play. But that brings me on to my next topic, top 4 centre wings. I've had a lot of questions about this on Q&A polls and all that sort of stuff, and I kind of wanted to ask the question to you because I'm looking at my centre wing and I'm like, I don't want anyone else. I've got Dom Young, Ruben Garrick, Greg MARZHEW, Kale Iro, the Canoe, Val Holmes, Brian Kelly, and Ethan Strange. I will get Mulitalo for Ethan Strange next week. I don't think Brian Kelly's an end-of-season guy.
Fun pod with a bit upside.
He's a bit fun, but what are your thoughts on top 4 centre wings? I feel like
I'd say
I've got Dom Young locked in there.
Yeah, Dom Young straight off the top of my head. It was just the killer upside. I think there'll be a couple of 150s, like maybe 1 or 2 of them still to come.
Jacob Carraz.
Yeah, if he's on the wing. I was excited to see him at fullback, but didn't really pan out as well as what I might have imagined. He's a heavy worker. I thought, very Dylan Edwardsy, but maybe thought there might be a bit more attack, but he seems to lack the passing game. I thought maybe he might have more ability to cross close to the line than maybe like a Dylan Edwards, like that crashing sort of Tommy sort of style play. I'd probably chuck him in there, but Garrick, I'd definitely chuck Garrick in there. Just get the yucky little scores out of your mind of just recently when you got hurt. Doesn't matter. Valish, I don't want to say Val, but
Bit off him
just because of the draw's a little bit tough.
I really think this week it sucks because he's running at Tommy Turbo this week.
I'd rather have him in my side than not have him in my side.
I agree.
But I don't have him and I won't be getting him back, I don't think. So Lomax potentially, like he's another like real guy with that upside. Whether the top, you could chuck the top 4 in, but they might not be the top 4 you want because of, scheduling and whether they might miss, have more buys than another player as well. They might have 2 buys to cut in rather than 1 or something like that, which you've got to factor in as well. But there's another name there that I'm missing that I want to throw in.
Val Holmes, MARZHEW, Garrick, Dom Young, Carraz, Azarko.
Yeah, he's thereabouts, but I mean he's going to have the big ones. But
I
I'm not
get-
that confident week in, week out. It's kind of you don't feel like the try's coming.
Manu.
Yeah, well that's the missing name, isn't it? Yeah, I still feel there's another one.
I'll get.
Doesn't matter.
I'll get them up. There is. Oh, sorry. Fuck. I haven't even.
I guess you could. There's other names like, people are pretty keen on Toto. I mean, he's not someone I've been really looking at.
Yeah, he's the 6th highest scoring centre wing at the moment.
Mm.
I don't think there's any other centre wings. I think we've named them all really. Toto is the other guy. So the top scoring players, Manu is number 1, Carraz 2, Holmes 3, Lomax 4, Azarko 5, Toto 6, Mulitalo and Ramian 7 and 8, Dominic Young and Ruben Garrick 9 and 10.
Mulitalo's that high up, is he?
Well, he absolutely killed it to start the season. He's still averaging 64 at the moment, but he's priced at a 46
I reckon I'm getting
average.
him then. If he's that high, like I remember you said he had those nice scores there. It's those couple of shitty scores of like runs of 30s that have put people off. With the draw that's coming, they played the Dogs last week, tougher game. The rest of them, they just seem so sexy.
The best defense in the comp, they are playing at PointsBet as well. So, yeah, that makes it tough, doesn't it?
So, I'm fuck. Because I really want Nichora. Yeah, okay, MARZHEW there next week. We've done MARZHEW this week, Ronnie next week.
Yes. Mulitalo's last score.
Jeez, it's been a headache, man. It's been so. This whole season's just been so like that.
Mulitalo's last score versus the Titans was 110. Round 24 in 2023.
Fuck, that's annoying because you kind of want him for this week too.
Oh, I don't know, because their run's so good, you can kind of miss out on it. Like, he plays the Titans again in round 23.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, because their run is so good, you can miss out on this one great game.
Yeah, exactly.
There's another 9 fucking awesome games that he's got. Yeah. I get that.
You've got to get... Yeah, I feel like for the sakeness of your side, like, if you haven't got, like, 800K sitting in the bank, then you're better off going Marju because you don't want to miss out on something that you want next week.
Yeah,
or something
that's
like that.
that's like me with Nicho. You know, a bit. Oh, do I want him? I think he looks good. Yeah, but then didn't do it, and wish I did. So
Let's go back to Manu. Out injured with a fractured hand, 4 to 6 weeks. They have the bye in round 23, so let's just say he's back round 24. Let's just assume that. I think that's like a 6-week turnaround there.
6, 7, so you get 4 final weeks out of him.
So back round 24, you get 24, 25, 26, which is, if you're playing head-to-head, that is the second lot of finals, the preliminary final, and the grand final. Then you get him round 27. Their draw is pretty good. He's the top scoring centre wing, but my issue is, like, does he come back and absolutely kill it straight away? Because I feel like when the Roosters are doing really well, he's not necessarily in the middle of it. I feel like when the Roosters are doing a bit poorer, he kind of steps up.
Lifts sort of thing. I see what you mean, but they've been going good this year for the most part, and he, as you said, he is the top scoring centre winger, so just going off that, I mean, he's 600 and something K. If I had better depth in my centres and just better depth in general and more trades, if I had more trades, I'd make the sell. So I guess I'd be holding, especially if you can cover it week in, week out, and you're like, well, I'm struggling to find, my 4 reserves each week, and I'm leaving out 2 guns.
Yeah.
Like, if that's your case, you're in that situation, and you hold on to him for sure. Because then he's going to be a massive pod in the back end.
Yeah, for sure. I could definitely hold him this week, but my plans are to sell. I will tinker with the ideas and all that sort of stuff, but comes back round 24, plays Parramatta Eels, who, if they're out of contention by then, that could be huge.
It's not that long of a period. Think about it like this way. We're holding on to Latrell Mitchell, right? He's 800 and something K, and we held on to him for a period where he was going to be missing 3 or 4 games. It's basically the same.
Well, he's not actually even guaranteed to miss 3 or 4. He had the bye in round 16 because he played Origin.
Yeah.
The bye. 3 or 4. You're right.
So Latrell
he might not back up either.
So Latrell missed 3 or 4, and we've held 800K there, and that's at fullback. Yeah. You know what I mean? In a 2 important position there.
True.
So if you can hold 600K where you've got all these other positions, bloody oath, because if you're selling him and you think, I wouldn't mind having him in the back end, you're not going to be able to get him back. You're just not going to have the trades. You'll have a thing where your gun halfbacks, I'm not going to name a name, but one of the gun full halfbacks, gets injured. I don't want to jinx anyone. And then you've got to replace them. And so luxurious trades, like maybe moving from, say, you might have Ronnie in 4 weeks. So you go, Ronnie's not really going as well as I'd like, and I can move him to Manu. You probably don't have that luxury. Hold on to him. Super pod. But I can't do it, so I just don't have the depth. I'll be taking too much of a hit for the next 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, so I guess realistically, like, you've gone, one of my trades is Manu to MARZHEW this week. I could realistically just do Ethan Strange to MARZHEW instead, hold and just see where I'm at next week, because I'm leaving out Dylan Lucas and Kai Pearce-Paul this week. Maybe just wait till game day, see who gets named, and play one of them.
Once you get past, like you say, he's out 4 weeks. Once you get past 1 week, it's like, now it's only 3.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you get past that next one, he's back in 2 weeks.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Just
and
like holding Latrell.
Just
like holding Latrell. Like, we've already waited 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It didn't feel that long at all, to be honest.
We get him this week, and we probably have to miss 1 more. We assume he hopefully backs up, so...
And I think holding Manu is a trump card for later in the season as well. So I guess someone in my position, he could be so handy to have, especially playing, like, if the Eels are out of contention at that point, they play the Gold Coast in round 25, Canberra in round 26, and they play the Rabbitohs in round 27.
If he was 800K, 100%, you move him on. 700K, but like, it's low 6s.
620, yeah.
Seems pretty holdable.
Nicho Hynes, one of the more traded in players this week, 740K with 118 break even. Plays the Titans this week, obviously, as we've harped on about. It's the Sharks podcast. We're just talking about Sharks.
Well, they are the hot ticket at the moment, aren't they, with their draw? And
should they be?
Yeah. Yep. I think so.
I think they'd be such an elite side if they had a better fullback than Will Kennedy, to be honest.
Yeah, but, you know, the situation is what it is.
Nicho Hynes is their fullback, their halfback, and everything around them. Nicho Hynes, 48 points last week. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say, I'm fading Hynes. Like, a lot of people
altogether
in some SuperCoach chats have said...
They're saying that, and I guarantee you're not. I guarantee you he's going to put up scores. If you say he doesn't put up a massive one this week, and he puts up like a 70 or an 80, you'll be like, see, I don't need that. I don't need it. I'll stick with my blah, blah, blah. Then he'll do it. And then you're going to shit yourself. You'll do it the next week, and no matter how staunch you're saying you're not doing it, I reckon there's many out there that won't be doing it.
48 points against the best defensive team in the comp at the moment. Like, the Bulldogs are doing that well at the moment.
Yeah, he had a lot of head noise, bro. He's dealing with,
he missed a couple of field goals. 48 points. He was still in and around absolutely everything. The Sharks rely on him to score points. And with this draw coming up, we saw it at the start of the year. He was scoring 30s, and then 3 weeks in a row, 180, 150, 130. That's going to happen again.
With the draw, he's just such an accumulator of stats. He'll be doing a few things out there, and you're like, yeah, I don't think he's done much or whatever. And then you look at it, and he's actually had a line break assist that was, you didn't actually really notice. It wasn't that, that just got through. It wasn't like an off a try or whatever. There'll be an off, whatever. And then you just look at the score, and it's massive. And I think with the draw, these defences will allow him to accumulate the way he likes to.
For sure.
So, yeah.
For sure. I think he is an awesome purchase. The thing is, who do you sell him for?
That's a headache.
Depending on your side. So, for my side at the moment, I've got Jerome Hughes, I've got Dylan Brown, Cody Walker, and Lockie Galvin. I'm seriously considering selling a Lockie Galvin or...
I'd be... At the moment, my mind, I prefer Galvin over Cody Walker.
I think so too.
Like to hold. I've got...
Yeah, I think so too. Cody Walker doesn't appeal me. That doesn't scare me if I don't own him. The thing is, for my side, I only have 11 players for round 19 at the moment, so I don't think I can afford to do that. I think I might have to do Jerome Hughes to it. Jerome Hughes has the Roosters in round 20, which is a bit of a harder matchup, and hopefully by then...
He's going real good. I'd be kind of wanting to hold on to him as long as you can until he stops going well. Like, that's a situation I'm in with Sammy Walker. He didn't really brain it on the scoreboard last week, but I've still got a lot of faith in him. The week prior went massive. He's my only way. If I wanted to get Nicho this week, I could do it. I'd just have to sell Sam Walker to him, and I could still get Nicho as well. But I'm not prepared to sell Sam Walker. I want to sell either Dylan Brown, Cody Walker, or Galvin. I'm not sure. I'm really hoping that next week my decision's made for me. Maybe, God forbid something happens to one of those, then I don't have to make that stressful thing. But I am leaning towards probably Cody, selling him.
Are you doing that this week?
No, I can't. If I could afford to, I would. I would just bite the bullet and pick which one. I think trying to decide which one is very hard. That's why I'd like to see another week, and maybe one of them gets a bit of a niggling injury, or maybe the other two of them really perform and the other one sort of underwhelms or whatever, you know what I mean? So having another look at it will allow me to make the right sell, I hope. But yeah, I'd be definitely bringing him in if I could, but I'm not prepared to sell Sammy Walker. Not prepared to do that yet. I'll have to, though, when I want to bring... Yeah, but I'm just not prepared to do it yet.
My thoughts are Dylan Brown's probably an end of season guy. Like, he just seems a lot safer than Cody Walker and Lockie Galvin. But my gut feeling says sell Lockie Galvin. I feel like the Rabbitohs are in a position where they need to win as many games as possible. So I think Cody will be handy. Switching Cody and Dylan Brown. Shout out to Cody Walker getting halfback duel. I've been able to swap them this week to get Dylan Brown onto the starting side and put Cody as a reserve halfback if I want to, if I don't want to play him. But yeah, I just feel like because he's an 18-year-old, he's played every game except one this season. Usually these younger guys, towards the end of the season, they really start to drop off because injuries start to hit.
I reckon, a future superstar.
Yeah, but I just feel like injuries hit and they always fall they always fall off. You see Payne Haas by the end of the year most years. He's just so beaten up. Like, I think just looking at him now, I feel like that's not going to happen with Payne Haas this year. But that's because he's getting older. With Lockie Galvin, like, he's 18, he's small. Surely the end of the year catches up to him, and he's on a high at the moment. I feel like you're not going to want to play him week to week either.
He just looks so keen to be out
Oh, he
there.
does.
He just looks so enthusiastic. I think it was Mick Ennis that made a comment, and he was just like, they're getting beat or whatever, and you can just tell he doesn't care. He just loves playing footy at the top level. You can tell how much he loves.
Sorry, who said that?
Mick Ennis, I think.
Oh, so they're getting beat, and he loves going deep into the line.
Something along those lines, yeah. So, for me, there's a real big romance around having Lockie Galvin in my side. There's a bit of an unknown. Like, I feel like you know what you're going to kind of get from Cody. You know what he can do, and it's great too. There does seem like there's those 28, 35-ish scores in Galvin occasionally, but there seems like just
like 59 on the weekend against a team. They scored 6 points, and he wasn't even involved in the try.
Yeah,
59 points. He plays Melbourne this week and then the Sharks. So it's not very good for the next 2 weeks. But then he plays Souths, Warriors, Cowboys, Newcastle, Souths, Manly, and Para.
I like him because I feel like in that Tiger side, he has the license to be creative and play some Lockie Galvin sort of footy. And, if he makes a couple of mistakes, he's willing to, Benji will back him to take his chances. And that's where a lot of those plays will sort of translate to SuperCoach points if, they're not just playing conservative a lot of the time. So, I like him. I think I want to keep him,
I guess let's just look at the averages. Dylan Brown averaging 65.7. Do you think Dylan Brown's going to get better, have a better second half of the season, or worse?
I feel like he's going to stay about the same. I don't feel like he's going to drop off. I don't think he's going to be much better. The only reason I see him going much better is if, say with Mitch back, they just fire and their side as a whole plays much better. Which
I don't see him doing worse. Let's just say that. Cody Walker averages 56.9. Do you see him have a better or worse second half of the year?
I don't have a real good read on it. Hey, that's why I think I'm happy to sell. Like I feel like he could go there with what you say with the Bunnies going on a run and trying to make the finals could be lit up.
It's tough because I really liked the look of him at halfback the first week, but the last week they played.
It was wet that last week.
It was wet against Manly. It was a very clunky game, but I wasn't convinced. It just seemed like he was nearly. I don't know if you watched the game, but he was nearly kind of. Like, he'd get the ball and nearly be turned around fully backwards to pass the ball because you just couldn't get his timing right.
Yeah, but I noticed the week prior too. He might
or is it because he's throwing it the wrong way?
I think he prefers a right to left pass. He did a thing where he full twisted around so he could actually make a left to right pass, but just twisted his body around. I was like, I used to do that when I was playing touch footy, because I just couldn't.
Yeah,
I couldn't pass.
People still do that in my Oztag team.
I used to do, and I thought that was so bad that I was doing it. But if he can pull it off, but the problem with doing that play is it's going to be a forward pass a lot of the time. It just looks forward. So when you twist around like that,
yeah, I just feel like Cody Walker in the past.
What do you think? Do you think there's more in him or what? Because he is that guy that can have killer upside.
Yeah, I just feel like with Latrell back in the side, it's going to be good for him. But let's have a look. Parramatta and the Dolphins in the next 2 weeks. I like that, so I'll keep him for the next 2 weeks. I'm probably selling Jerome Hughes for Nicho, to be honest. But then he has the Tigers after that. Good play there. Canberra after that. Good play there. Then he plays Sharks Melbourne. Pretty happy to sit him there. Then he plays the Tigers Newcastle. Pretty happy to play there. Even my numbers allows it. And then Penrith and the Roosters in the last 2.
Depending on what sides they field.
Exactly. It just feels like even against these good matchups, Cody Walker's going to be a guy where I'll be like, should I play him or should I not?
Yeah, I reckon we're a bit locked into a bit of this old school Cody Walker, Dylan Brown stuff. I reckon the new school of Jaden Campbell's, Keanu Kinney's, these sort of proven guys could be the way that they're the mad ones, I reckon, this year for the back end, but we'll see what happens.
Who has the bye in round 20? Because the fact that we're locking in all these Sharks players. Like, it's kind of a reason I wanted to avoid Mulitalo.
Sharks, Eels, Dragons.
Sharks, Eels, Dragons. So I've got no Dragons. Eels, I've got 2. And then at the moment, I've got Iro, Nikora,
You will have Hynes.
Hynes, and then maybe Mulitalo. That's 6 players plus Origin backup. Like, that's going to make round 20 a very tricky. And I know you're willing to take the hit if it's for an end of season thing, but maybe is Iro a sell?
No.
Iro could be a sell.
No, I got a good feeling about him.
You reckon?
Yeah. I went from he was a sell to probably a hold to now I'm like really feel like the tries are going to come from him in this back end.
I think
tries.
So, I think so too. And like he reminds me of. I feel like there's always these players. Like I think that's why I've held on to Ethan Strange for so long. Because if you end up holding these low price players at the start of the year, that everyone eventually sells off. It feels like their breakout game comes later in the year anyway, when they're kind of used to it. Given the fact Ethan Strange is in a pretty bad side and he's just shifted to the right side, which I don't like at all for him. But Iro, I feel like I have good vibes about him, like Stefano's debut season at the Tigers, where he killed it late in the year. Like, I feel like a lot of people are going to look at selling Iro, like he's going to get a lot of 50s. Iro's averaging 58.
With that draw, what's going to happen? If they've been playing a bit of tighter games, he's just going to have his opportunity. He's like, I'm going. You know what I mean? He's just going to see the space, dummy, and just go. He's got that in him. Like that first game he played this year, where he got that, he's crossed the line. He scored nearly a ton. I think it was 98.
Has he scored a try this year?
Yeah, it was his first game. He had a big one.
And he hasn't scored a try since. I reckon I've loaded up on him like probably 5 or 6 weeks. Because I feel like it's coming. It's coming. Would you have any issues with Mulitalo and Iro in your side?
A little bit. So maybe that's the part where if I'm only going to go, if you like, a little bit. Because I kind of like the balance of, like, if I've got Nicho, Nikora, and one of the left wingers, it's like, a bit of the attack on either side of the field, and then Nicho run around doing whatever everywhere. But then stacking 2 of them on the left might be overkill, but because the draw's so good, I'd be happy to do it. And they're cheap. They're not. It's not like you're getting 2, one's 700k, and one's 800k.
It's not like Manu and Young price.
Yeah, you're paying 400, 500, or that's how much they're worth. So yeah, I like both of them potentially.
All right, trades for this week, Timmy.
Yeah, so I can't see a world where I don't get Nikora. There might be some way I think, is he past? Like, is he too much? Like, should I have just got him last week? But I think I've got to get him because he's only probably I'm paying an extra 6 points each week or whatever, because I think he's gone from he's gone up 70k, so that's about 7 points you're paying for extra. Him and probably MARZHEW. Could be Ronnie. The only reason it would be Ronnie is if I decide that I just don't want MARZHEW, but I can't see that being a thing. So, and there's a 5% chance that I could maybe abort some of that and bring Nicho in, but I don't think so. So it should just be KPP, Nikora, and Manu to MARZHEW.
I like it.
Manu to MARZHEW sounds good too.
Yeah, I'm actually doing Manu to MARZHEW at this stage. I might look at doing Ethan Strange to MARZHEW, but I kind of like...
Manu to MARZHEW sounds heaps better. Rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, and then I'm doing Finifuiaki to Hamoli Olakau'atu.
That rolls. They've got that Finifuiaki Olakau'atu. Yeah, it's good.
You need a double barrel apostrophe name in your side. Finifuiaki, I probably would have let him go this week because I feel like there's a lot of other players I want, but I don't want him being stuck in my side. And he's at a price where he's got enough value to move on to Olakau'atu. I've got 200k in the bank. I've now got 130k in the bank after doing trades. So Ethan Strange to Mulitalo next week. Hughes to Hynes. Fuck, that's a lot of Sharks. But I feel like at that point, like my team's nearly set. I'll be going Henry to Haas. Need to get Harry Grant in. I'm going to nuff Sam Hughes. I've been thinking about it for a long time.
I reckon that's a great idea. I thought you were talking about Liam Henry. I was thinking about the amount of money you'd free up in that. But Sam Hughes, what is it, 100K?
He's 330 at the moment, but he's.
Are you doing it for funds, or are you doing it to avoid AEs, or what?
No, for funds.
Okay.
So at the moment, he's just come off a 59 on the weekend. What's his BE at the moment? So I'll wait a couple of weeks. His break even's 11, so hopefully he can make a bit of cash and go to 400K. I'll nuff him, get 200K off him.
Yeah,
and
if you could get to 400K, I could get around it too.
Yeah,
potentially.
I wasn't going to nuff him just because of the price, but I just feel like I was happy to have him because I think he's a playable option. Like, to get 40 for you if you really need
in
it.
emergencies when you have to. Yeah.
But if I've got Liam Henry, who I'm going to Payne Haas, I've got Terrell May and Adam Fanua-Blake, I don't really need another guy to cover me there. So I think with Sam Hughes, my plan is to nuff him. And I was thinking of nuffing Ethan Strange.
In centre wing?
In centre wing.
I wouldn't nuff in centre wing. I just reckon you want as many.
I think I've got enough there.
Especially because like week by week, you know what I mean? You want to have a few different like options based on matchup, like where you can, although you could have 5 guns and 1 nuff. I don't know. I just love the centre wing position. I just feel like it's such a good.
I agree. I don't want to nuff out there, but I could nuff in my second hooker spot as well, Brendan Hands.
I reckon that's a good spot to do it
because I really feel like I'm not going to have a second one. I don't have the trades
to do it. If your main hooker dies, not die. Yeah.
R.I.P. bro.
Yeah. If he falls out of the picture, then you're probably not going to want to rely on your second backup guy. So, yeah. Don't mind nuffing it out. But then, I guess if something happens with your main hooker, then you've just got to deal with that and trade that
I'll tell you what I hate. Joe Chan is really killing me. He's really killing me, man. I feel like I knew at the start of the year he was a shit thing.
I remember we just chucked him in. It was the last
because he just got named in round 1 on the edge. Hopefully later in the year.
I might have tried avoid some of those that don't seem sort of super security-ish. Like, I know a lot of the cheapies that come with a lot of doubt at the start of the year. You don't really know, but he did seem... Where was he going to fit in?
Yeah, exactly. It was never a great thing. All right, to the tipping point.
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, let's do
Timmy 2 plays Brandon 10. Oh, sorry. Timmy 2 plays Brandon 8 out of 10 performances. Hads, shout out to you because he said don't say 2 out of 9 wins versus 8 out of 9 wins or whatever. He just said 8 plays 2.
Okay.
You like that?
That sounds better. I feel like I'm closer to you. Yeah.
8 plays 2. How many rounds have we got left? It's round 17. So we've got 10 rounds left. You can do it. You've just got to win over 50%, which is like, it's a 50-50 game, right? So,
but I've got to win nearly 100% of the run home to catch you, though.
So 10 weeks to go. You're 6 behind.
That doesn't seem right. I feel like I'm well behind on that, but that's okay. I'll take that.
I'm on 8. You're on 2.
I thought you were on 10.
No, I'm on 8 out of 10.
Oh. Awesome.
Because we've done it 10 times because we only started 10 weeks ago.
Okay, yeah, that makes me feel better then. Okay.
So there was a bit of chat. There was a bit of chat in the premium group going on. Do we give you an advantage? Because I feel like we really need a punishment for the end of the year. And you're not going to agree to anything because you're so far behind at the moment. If you're backing yourself for the comeback, well, then I think we need to lock in.
I'm not backing myself for the comeback, bro. Like, I'm not backing myself.
There were suggestions, Timmy double points. How about Timmy double points until he catches up? And then...
No, I don't like that. I don't feel... if I'm going to play the game, I want to play at the adults table. I don't want to be given special rules. I'll take it on.
All right, what's the punishment?
I don't know. Can it just be like eating a chili as opposed to something like wearing a dress? I'd rather just have to deal with something physical pain rather than mental.
There are an abundance of idealists in our premium group.
Sure.
Once they listen to this, I want them to come up with a suggestion.
Go easy on me, guys.
One of them already suggested shaving your head.
do that. I don't really care about shaving
You'll
my
do
head.
that.
Shaved my head. My sister did cancer. I thought it looked all right.
I don't know if I'd shave my head because I don't know if there's any coming back from that.
Yeah. Oh, I'd do
From my hairline especially.
Yeah, I don't mind it. What do you want me to do? Eat a chili while shaving my head?
Yeah, I like that. Live in the studio. Anyway, so Britton Nickera, 65 points. You went lower. He went over for that try, and the fact that you didn't trade him in,
Hurt. Double whammy.
I'm
hurt.
sure when you saw the tipping point post on Saturday morning, it would have reminded you, shit, I chose him. Fletcher Sharp, you chose over 57 points. He got 61.
I was very confident in that one. He scored more than that against the Storm and the Panthers 2 weeks prior, so I really felt like I was, in with a good one there. But this next one was a tough one. I felt the more because we looked into the rain and it was going to be raining.
And it did rain.
It did rain. It wasn't as heavy as what I would have liked, but
it's funny because heavy rain on the TV doesn't look heavy. It's got to be torrential for it to look heavy.
True that. But I mean, he was my captain, so it was a bit of a,
Teddy, 110. You went lower. The ball was in your court at 110, and you looked at the weather and you went lower. So,
because I'm a fiend for just chasing the overs, and I feel like
has that played with your mind?
Playing this game, yeah. I feel like the more realistic thing is that they're probably not going to go massive more times than not, and I'm going more times than not. Everyone's going massive, so yeah. Look, well, let's get to this week. I've done a little bit more. Like, you're not putting them on me straight away. I've actually thought about it a little bit. Yeah.
So we've gone Mulitalo, MARZHEW, and Hynes this week. The big talking points. I think Hynes will be one of the more. He's the most traded in gun this week, but he's also going to be one of the most captained players this week. Mulitalo and Hynes, one of them is the cheapie, and another one can be the guns.
Mulitalo and MARZHEW, you mean?
Yeah, it just feels like that they're the three we need to do this week. So, do you want to set the line, or do you feel like
you may set it, sir?
All right, let's go. Mulitalo. They play Friday night. They play against the Titans at PointsBet. I'm setting the line at 55 points.
I'll go over 55 and I'll go to 60.
I'll go over 65 and go 68.
I'll go over 68 and go to 72.
I'll go over 72 and go 75.
I'll go over 75 and I'll go 77.
I'm going under.
Okay.
Damn. He's going to score a double now, isn't he? All right. Greg MARZHEW. Set the line at 55 also. Against Canberra Raiders. Last game at GIO Stadium.
And do you want to... You set the line at 55. Are you going over, or are you going to go below?
Well,
you assume
over. Yeah.
Over. Yeah. I'm just trying to cheat. I'm just looking at my cheat stats. I'm just looking at how many tries have gone in against Canberra Raiders on the left wing. 8 over the season. Okay. Yep. I'm gonna go over 55 and go to 65.
I'll go under 65.
Nice.
And let's go Nicho Hynes. Set the line at 80.
So I'm over 73 for...
Over 77 for Mulitalo. Over 65 for MARZHEW.
And Nicho. Here we go.
Over, so 80 points. I'll go higher.
Yeah, I'll go higher too. I'll go 85.
I'll go 90.
I'll go 92.
How far are you going to push this, buddy? How far are you pushing this, buddy?
Where are you feeling? Have you got a number in your head? I've got a number in my head.
I don't actually have a number in my head. I'll go below 92.
You go below 92? Where was I at?
92.
Good.
I feel 87. I feel that's what he's scoring this week.
Yep. That'd be good. I feel like that'd be good for people who haven't bought him,
Be
and it'd be
great
good
for
for
both,
people that have bought him.
for sure. 87. Oh, you want more from Nicho Hynes, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm just in my mind, I'm just trying to get the win. So I'm like thinking, I think I like that. I feel like I feel confident this week. I'm a bit worried about Ronnie's over 77, but I reckon I've got the last two right.
I'll tell you what, every week I've been pretty confident in my picks. I'm looking at them right now, and I just don't know how they're going to go. Like, I feel like I've gone on the riskier side of all of them, and I feel like I'm under...
You're on unders for all of them, aren't you?
I'm under for Nicho, under for MARZHEW, and... Yep. Oh, I am too. Shit.
But it's me usually picking the overs, getting it wrong anyway.
But the line is lower.
Good luck to you, though, anyway, sir.
I'm not shaking your hand.
Oh, yeah, this is the chewing gum hand, isn't it? I haven't washed my hands since picking the chewing gum under the table.
We're still Queenslanders. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'll shake your hand. Yeah, let's fist bump.
Yeah. Yeah, that was funny as fuck. I love that. Just because, you know what? I put in the premium chat, like, something like after the game... Billy, like, without him even seeing this press conference, right, that Billy would have said something like, something to do with just Queensland performance or probably Queensland, just like taking the piss of like how he always goes on about Queenslanders. And then he'd said that to a question where he wasn't asked anything around, and it was kind of like someone had paid him like a large amount of money to just say it because it was funny as fuck. It made no sense.
It was like, you making any changes for next games? We're still Queensland.
Still Queenslanders. Yeah, but what do you mean by that? I don't know.
Can you imagine his wife? Do you want to get naughty? Still a Queenslander.
What does that mean?
I love that. Dad, can we play? Still Queenslanders.
I like that.
What would you like? Hi, welcome to Drive Through. What can I get for you? We're still a Queenslander.
You work out what I want from that. Yeah, good stuff.
What would he like? What is a if you went through drive-through and asked, I'm still a Queenslander, what would you give him?
I don't know, maybe something like...
Probably give
him... a double... What have they got, a double... Something with a double patty or something for their two heads or something like that? I'm trying to find the punchline in it.
I just give a lot of mayonnaise because they're used to swallowing substances like that. Swallowing their own in particular... Yeah, fuck you, Queenslanders. We're getting a bit on in memory. I should probably delete some stuff, but captains.
We do love Queenslanders, but
not in Origin time. Yeah, captains. I might go Latrell.
Okay.
Against Para.
I remember thinking that it was like the good captains. I think everyone will be going. It would be vice captain Hynes and captain Teddy. I think that's what everyone will be doing. Who's got those combos? But because I don't, I'm going to go captain Teddy against Dragons.